Hello, how are you all doing? This week I thought I'll start the week about talking about something where a lot of my clients talk about this, and I find it very interesting that they are always seeking outside validation for people to love them, or people to accept them, or people to like them. So, more often than not, they will say something, I did this for that person and they did not respond, and it made me so sad. Or, I went out of my way to do this for my kid and my kid never even noticed it. Or, in the wedding, I made so many preparations and I was at the beck and call of everybody, organizing everything, and nobody even said a thank you. I don't understand what is wrong with me, why people don't like me, or why people do not acknowledge what I do. So the question is, this is a very common phenomenon. So first and the foremost thing, it is important to understand that people are not focused on you. I'll repeat it. People are not focused on you. Most people are completely engrossed like a child with their own fingers and their feet, and they are just in their own world trying to resolve or trying to think about what are the best things that they can do in their life for themselves. Once we understand that people are not really focused on us as much as we are doing for them, I think that's the first step in realizing and moving forward in liking, validating, and loving yourself. It is not the job of other people to love you or to like you or to validate you or to accept you. They are not going to do it. So once you understand that fundamental principle that people are totally occupied 99.9% of the time with their own life, then you start to focus on what is important for you. And what I believe is important for every individual is to become the best version of themselves. To live a life that they can be proud of, to live a life which can be very fulfilling at multiple levels, to be successful, to be creative, to be happy, to be joyful, to be productive. But when we give the power of validation to another human being, they do not acknowledge it, or they do not accept it, or they do not verbally address that, somewhere we give our power away to others. So for you, first of all, it's important to understand people don't care beyond a certain point. And secondly is, it is not their job to love you. Your job is to love yourself. Your job is to respect yourself. Your job is to accept yourself in its entirety, whatever that means. Your job is to validate your existence by living the best life that you know at this given point of time you can create for yourself. Why we need to focus on this? Why we need to keep the expectations from people aside? Because I think, as my teacher used to say, when I make an appointment, I risk the chance of a disappointment. Reason being is that when I choose to give the power to you to validate me, I also risk the chance that you will not validate me, and that will in turn disappoint me. And when disappointment hits me, that is the time when I lose perspective. That is the time when I lose control. That is the time when I try to magnify things out of proportion and bring sadness and distasteful taste in my mind, in my heart, because of what the other person has not done. So, going forward, what can you do to love yourself? I think it is one of the toughest things in life, where we are constantly judged by society, by our culture, that women is probably not at par with men. Women really need to struggle and prove themselves way more. We have a whole gamut of emotions which make us very powerful and at the same time extremely vulnerable to whatever happens around ourselves. That loving ourselves, minus the clutter and the noise that we hear around us, is quite a Herculean task. It doesn't come easily to most of us. It doesn't come easily to most of us because we didn't get in our childhood that kind of nurturing. We didn't get that kind of upbringing. We didn't get that kind of leverage from society, from culture, from relationships, that we are enough. Aham, I am enough the way I am. Not that I have reached the pinnacle of success or perfection. Perfection is either which way is illusionary. But I am enough the way I am, and I love myself for who I am. So the first thing that you can do is every single day, as you get up in the morning and as you get out of your bed and you do your necessary prayers, your necessary gratitude exercises, is go and stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself, I am enough. The way I am, who I am, the kind of person I am, with all the necessary disqualifications or habits or whatever, I am enough. I'm a work in progress. I need to work upon multiple things in my life, but I am enough, and I don't seek validation from others. I am not looking for others to love me. I'm looking at myself to fill my heart with my own love. I think one of the other things that is very important at this point to remember is that we are always bombarded with this thing that there is something lacking. If you look at the entire media industry, if you look at the entire advertising industry, it is based on the premise you need this to be fulfilled. You need to drink this drink or this beverage to have happiness in your life. You need to buy this piece of clothing to feel fulfilled. And that at a subconscious level keeps on reminding us that as and what we are is incomplete, is not complete. We need something external to fulfill us. And that breathes, that pretty much enhances that feeling of not being enough and needing somebody's validation, needing somebody's love, needing somebody's support. So, second thing that you need to tell yourself in a repeated time, you could put an alarm on your mobile, you have to read to yourself at least 3 times a day, I am enough. That's it. Once you do it in the morning and a couple of times during the day, maybe at afternoon, maybe in the evening and just before you sleep, is to say to yourself, I am enough. I am not seeking validation from others to feel enough. As you practice these things over a period of time, you will come into a space where you will start to reduce your dependency on other people for your validation, for your happiness, for your joy. You would start to recognize all those qualities that make you special, all those things that make you unique, all those things that make you worthy of your own love. And as you do that, you come into a more peaceful space. You will start to realize you're doing better at your work. You will start to realize you're getting healthier relationships. You will start to realizing you're a happier being. You will start to realize, wow, even if somebody criticizes me, it doesn't really matter to me anymore, because you have really developed that muscle of self-worthiness. I do hope that you will think about this very seriously, and you must know, as I have experienced that with multiple clients of mine, that when you start to practice this exercise, you become happier. And as you become happier, as you become more self-reflective, as you become more joyful, it impacts positively in every aspect of your life. I hope you do like this video. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel after listening to this. And at the same time, you can follow me on Instagram at dr.nalini.com. Keep an eye out for my latest webinar, which is going to come very soon. It's a free webinar which you can attend. And I look forward to being a person who can motivate you, inspire you to live your fullest life. Bye for now.